need a motion to go into advisory session. Y'all go over the time.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning, everyone. At this time, I would ask if you have a mobile device, you will put it in the silent or the vibrate mode. I'm Joe Norwood. I'm serving as Vice Chair. Our Board President, Mr. Rutledge, is out on a family matter and will return to our next meeting. With that said, we will stand for a prayer and a pledge. The prayer will be given by our chaplain, Mr. Dennis Marks.
Father, first of all, I say thank you. Pleasure. Bought with the blood of Christ, but also bought with the blood of military protecting us and having us safe for law enforcement, those that take care of us, first responders, police. Very much especially in these days. Confusion, Lord, we make sense of all this and put it all not fly apart, work together for the nation. Pray, Lord, that you give this meeting today, all these things will be accomplished, and your wisdom is so prevalent. May your wisdom be your trouble. Pray that you help this community to meet the needs of the Lord. Together, love, encouragement, protectors, taking care of us. Pray that you bless this meeting, encourage us with Jesus.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chaplain Marks would like to thank you for that prayer and everyone for joining in the pledge. We have approval of the agenda for even days.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have a motion carried. We have approval of minutes dated June 15th of 2020.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have a motion carried. Down to number 6, Ms. Inspire Walker.
Good morning.
First, I'm inspired by I'm going to pass you all what we call a brief community plan of action. Of course, you're going to see it says City Council because this is what we presented before our City Council last week. With the intention of continuing to bring our city closer together.
Ms. Walker, do you have a second on another one of these?
Yes.
I'll leave it right here for Mr. Rutledge. Make sure he gets this information when he returns. Thank you.
So last week I had the pleasure of meeting with Board of City Council at that work session to bring this brief to me plan of action before them. Brief to me comes from, of course, we had a lot of things going on nationally with the national news with George Floyd. And we pretty much changed I Can't Breathe to Brief to me becoming in a more positive aspect, and we understand the power of words. But with this brief to me plan of action, to sum it up, it is helping us to change our narrative as a city. We know whatever your identity is or what you believe that is pretty much true for you. So if we go through that brief to me plan of action, it has a phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is just say identity shift. Right there on the back, on the second page, it says identity shift. And with that identity shift, it's connecting to anything that represents us, our language, our perception. And so a big part of that identity shift, we have to make sure we are on one accord or representing our people. We are aware that about 62.94% according to the last census is considered African American here. So we wanted to make sure everything here connects with everyone on one accord. So with that being said, a part of the identity shift, we're coming before you because we're aware that the Confederate monuments are on county property. So we're coming to you so that we can get the votes, 3 votes needed, so that those monuments will be able to be moved to a more suitable place, in which we've already started petition. The petition online has over 1,500 who already signed. We also have petitions that have been signed by paper as well here, where people feel that there is a more suitable place for it to be moved, so that we can come together and be visionaries, have monuments, and we already also own this breakthrough plan of action with identity shift. It should have somewhere on there where it mentions mural campaign. If you see campaign, I think page 3, it mentions different campaigns we're pushing, which we have Teresa Gonzalez here, a part of Meridian Art Walk. She's helping us to connect with the different artists in the area, which will also help connect us with our youth. So with moving the Confederate monument toward which we have a resolution that our city council has already started from our work session. They gave I have a copy, but we noticed that they have the wrong number here. So we want to get you all the correct number. If you want to see a copy, you can. But we are aware that they have the wrong code number. So you can check one case.
I think we should already have one of those.
Oh, you have
Okay.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got one, Joe?
I don't think you don't have one.
Well, here, I actually, I didn't pass them out this
Okay,
morning. I've got
okay.
some.
Okay, I see you. Thank you. So with this, we're aware of the code with moving the monuments.
Yeah.
You have one?
I mean, I don't think.
We have one.
I do.
All right, and which you're aware is highlighted, mine is highlighted here. If you feel there's a more suitable place for the monuments, they will, it's a court for you all, you're able to do the voting so that they can be moved to a more suitable place, which we're well aware of the history of it, and we do not want to, we're not erasing history, we're just putting it in a more suitable place so that we can continue to move forward as one people. So you see that there, everything there dealing with the code. And our resolution from the city council, which we met with them, they heard a lot of the comments from different people in the community, our citizens, and they already started to form the resolution in which their meeting is tomorrow. So they just have to go about it the proper way. That's the only reason why this one is defined, because their meeting is tomorrow. But we come before you in hopes that you will be able to connect with us through our breakthrough plan of action. If you see this last page here, looks like a chart. This is simply a representation of in which I come through Dream Team of the South, which we have been pushing. Dream Team of the South is pretty much, we will say, the covering 4 different organizations, as you see on there. For example, the Justice and Peace Group. You also have an example for a youth support group, example Race and Peace support group, even some birthday club group. These different groups that follow under Dream Team of the South are the citizens coming together as a collective to fill the gaps, that we feel in our community. With having a Justice and Peace support group, that's something that also has helped bring about certain injustice, possible injustice in the city, where we as the people come together showing that, hey, we're not just going to hold ourselves accountable, but as well as our leaders. So we're doing our part. The youth support group, we're coming together to help fill the gaps, and also bringing the arts to help our youth keep their hands busy, so to speak. It helps them combat crime, and also teaching them different leadership skills, even picking those words out, breakthrough, justice, peace, love, hope, and things of that such. So we're moving the Confederate monument to, as the city council here, to a more suitable place, the Lauderdale County Confederate Memorial Cemetery. That's where it can still be observed, and we're well aware of our history. And in place of the monuments. Different ones have filed for, as we said, the mural campaigns, but we still have other local history, but it's more connected to the positive history in which we want to be visionary to help us to continue to move forward. History connected to Change, Werner. These are different people too, black and white, who still represent our history, but in a more positive aspect, those who fought for equality for us. And we have different things. Somebody put a mural campaign connected to Angel Wing, where you can have the youth pamphlets and then signs showing that, hey, we're together, we're in this together, we're going to move forward together. So the main gist of this part with the identity shift, which you all, if you would like to further look through it, is there for you, because we're well aware that the county and city, although they're separate, they are together, and it takes us coming together as a collective to be able to get the change that the city needs to see. And some people ask why now, and we ask why not now. There's a quote that says if you continue to do the same thing and expect change to happen, that's a sign of insanity. So we're doing what we can to help be the change we need to see in the city, and we realize that also connects to individuals as well as our work.
Any board members have any questions or concerns, Ms. Walker?
I had planned on telling you that I appreciate how you and the group has carried itself, respecting the First Amendment, peacefully protesting. I commend you for that. And this is well put. It's not like some of the stuff I've been seeing on the news on the national level of what agendas might be or plans might be. This is very good.
Thank you. And to let you all know, we do have a lot of people from other cities who have contacted us regarding things they say, and they actually contacted us as an example. So now we're able to see that example really of, hey, how this should be done. So that's a big part of our identity shift and what how to state out there from already. And it's also connecting us to different sort of the identity shift, different celebrities and whatnot. I don't share everything with them, but we have different celebrities watching because they want to be behind this today.
Sure, and I think it's great that other people are looking to you and the group as an example, but I am impressed that this is made up of our local community, rather than, you know, I think people were worried about who's in this. Is it outside or is it our people?
It is local, and I saw it coming, I think on WTOK was right, like, oh, 90% somewhere else, and I'm looking like, no, more than 90% were local people who care about our own city. I can name not at least 90% of my name.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Miller.
you know, moving it is gonna have a cost. I'm just wondering who's gonna be, responsible. Are the taxpayers of Lauderdale County gonna foot this bill? Or is it a private entity, raising money to foot this bill? And you mentioned the, cemetery at Lauderdale. I don't know if the county owns that or it's a private individual owns that.
County does not own it.
Then you'd be looking at
Got to get permission.
the legalities of getting permission. So, you know, there's several things there that we, as a board, have to look at and iron out before we can even move forward.
Any further discussion?
So, and that's what the importance of coming together. It was the county, was it the county that paid for the statue to be put there? Is it the county?
Yes. Yeah.
So,
The statute has been there. The courthouse was built in 1905. The statute was put there in 1912. It's been there almost as long as the courthouse. The county paid $5,000 for the statute back in 1912. So it is a county-owned statute. And I don't know, the only published cost to move a monument that I've seen is the one on campus at Ole Miss. And that's because, you know, there's been a lot of controversy about that. You know, the reported cost for that one was projected to be $1.2 million to move it across campus to put it on the, at the location of the Confederate Cemetery on campus. I'm not saying this one would cost that, but it would, certainly would be, it's gonna be a costly endeavor if it's moved to any location.
So,
Because
yeah, so we,
Yeah.
especially as a people, money has never stopped, different things that we really wanted to be done, especially we see, it affects us psychologically as a people. Where there's a will, that there's a way. People found a way for it back then, even without the collective of the people. So people found a way, that, and that's why we come to you, because on our own, we don't have the answers, but we believe in you all as our leaders. I'm here, I'm leading my own right, Teresa on her own right, together in our own right. That's why we come to you. It may be different if we have to iron out, but that's what we expect, and we hope that people work to be ironed out. Because we want to continue to move forward. If we come to me, why this, why not, coming with a black on black mind. So all of this is to help, but we can get rid of that psychological issue for our people and show that we as a people, as matter, then we can continue to move forward.
Any other board member have any questions or concern for Mrs. Walker? Okay. Here, now you have anything else, Mr. Thing?
not today, no.
Okay, okay. Anything else you would like to add today, Dennis?
That's it, I'm here to report us and move forward to get this done so that our city can move forward, should not.
What's the board wishes? Mr. Rutledge is not here today as far as us proceeding with this business that been put before us today.
I think the best you can do is take their advisement.
Yeah.
If I may follow up, Mr. Vice Chair, I was just going to say, I think our next work session, and we study the law and we look over the papers that you gave us today, and you said it, just having some dialogue from this day forward and seeing where it goes.
Do I need to be at that next work session?
I think
Next work session, gentlemen, by my calendar here, would that be on July the 16th? Y'all have your calendar in front of y'all?
That's correct.
Okay, our next work session is July the 16th. Do we want to schedule that discussion for then?
Is it the same time?
It's at 9 a.m. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
All right,
if I can add, Mr. Vice Chair.
please.
You're welcome to come. I think our first meeting or so is just going to be diving into all this. So, I mean, if you're comfortable being there, maybe to answer your question, I think we're just going to take what you've given us and start digesting and start the discussion.
I have one other question. You said the Confederate Cemetery in Lauderdale, was there a second location, Ms. Walker? Ma'am?
It's married.
So with this one, this is one with, I know Western Councilman Western helped to formalize, for their city council meeting. But from my knowledge, I knew it was another one with different places that moved, so I'll help them out into,
Does anyone else have any concerns or comments? If not, we'll take this under advisement and bring it to our July 16th work session. Ms. Walker, I'd like to commend you for your efforts in bringing about a change to your people and the people of this city and county, man. Take care. All right, moving on, number 7, we have LPK Architects, Lauderdale County Government Complex. This is Bob. Bob is over there. Jason. Jason, where is Jason?
Morning, Mr. Luke. right there in front of the camera.
Okay, I know that people in the audience and the public is interested in seeing this. The only thing I know, we can shift that around or y'all can move around. We're trying to find out which way we're gonna go here. This is actually for those who are in the audience, drawing, okay, I'm sorry. This is actually, for those of you in the audience, drawings from the Lauderdale County Governmental Complex. That's the old mall down there that you see being torn down. And this is a presentation from our architect on giving us an update on the government complex.
While the engine's getting set up, real quick, make sure for everybody, some may not know. Angie Armstrong is with us, part of our architecture team. Like I said, Justin McConnell to the Yates, Bob Luker to the K. We're reporting back, this is what we call schematic design. If you really keep up that left side of that left, where you begin, some obviously you about level, disease, architects. But what we're doing today is trying to let you know where we are. We've been working with you folks, throughout your departments, your other elected officials, and we feel really good about where we are. We've been working to deal with some issues to do with size, square footage, because there's a direct correlation between the size of the building and cost. And we'll also be able to talk a little bit about scheduling and how we break it into pieces to keep moving forward. You're making tremendous progress. We've had more positive comments about the demolition of the mall and what's happening there, and the gateway to the community, and I never thought would happen. And Justin will be speaking to that in particular. Also, it's been interesting in this unusual time we're all experiencing. There have been two events that have highlighted the importance of how we plan this building. One would be the security factor in the shooting of Chancellor Smith, which has highlighted the significance of how we really need to take our security and how important it is. And the threats on him, the actual shooting and that, threats on the DA and others, and also the COVID crisis, and how that impacts all of us. And it's not disappearing, there will be new normal, and we're factoring all of those things in this building. So those are critical elements. But to begin with, as we start looking at square footage, we want to give you a few numbers to think about. And it's hard to compare true apples to apples. If you look at your existing courthouse in this building, and try to get an idea of what we're putting in this main building, and then we're going to talk about the old LabCorp building. It's a great opportunity to save money and make sense in so many ways, but the best apples to apples comparison is, today you're utilizing approximately 152,000 square feet between the existing courthouse and this building. The previous study that Melinda Sturgeon did some years ago, they analyzed that you would need 148,000 feet approximately. After a lot of squeezing and tugging and pushing and trying to factor in the COVID and security, the heated and cooled square footage from this main building you see there is 89,500 feet approximately. So that gives you some idea of how we think we can deal with efficiencies and new technology, and understand that buildings years ago we designed, we always anticipated growth. One of the things we always plan in a building is we need to figure out how much we need to grow. We don't look at that much today. We're looking at technology and new technology, in the way we're working today, even if we see significant economic growth, this is a tremendous boom, one not even imagine. This building, the main building will probably never have a need to be larger than we are about property. However, there are two areas that may grow larger, and then the public safety buildings, smaller rectangle to the right of here, which I will point to right now, and that is law enforcement, unfortunately, is a growing, prospering business, and the drug court, unfortunately, seems to be a prospering, growing business as we do that. But this entire piece of property which goes on back in this area is yours. We're developing enough property for this site proper and for this end. Now, you have other out parcels and lands available that will be cleared, will be crushed, will be cleaned up, where we're developing utilities in these two sites in particular. We're going to give you public parking, employee parking, secure employee parking, okay, so that all the employees will be able to park behind a fenced, card access, screened area. So there will be a visible screen around it so they can get out of their cars, go into this building, have card access to the building safely at all times. They will use their card, their access card, the same one they get in their building and their office with, get into that gated area there. And we can talk about in the future how much the need would be to gate the entire compound around there, but that opportunity is there as well. There will be one main public entrance. We want you to be able to control that access. We think that's critical for safety and security there. There will be other egress ways to exit the building, other ways that people with access cards can enter the building. At the same time, from a functional standpoint, it really didn't make sense to have law enforcement because of its growth need, drug court because of its use, etc., to all be in this building. But also from a cost standpoint, this is not a big, low-cost building to build. It's a building you're building for a lifetime. And there's two costs we want you to keep in mind. Both of them are very important. Initial cost and life cycle cost. Because it's not just what you pay for it. Most of us, whether you're farmers or business people, whatever, you need to think of what it's going to cost you over the life of something. It costs to maintain it and operate it. So both of those figures. But we have on this the old Winn-Dixie or LabCorp building, which is approximately 30,000 square feet of really good building, in good shape. There's one little area on the front that needs a little help. But it is a big, nice box with high ceilings that works extremely well and provides the kind of space that works well for the Sheriff's Department, E911, Marine Volunteer, Fire Department, and drug testing. All very compatible uses. And very good use of tax dollars in that locale. And this would be a secure area, secure parking, some other things we'll get into later as we look into that. But this gives you a good idea. Now this water, it's not a water feature we're putting there with some big pond, people go fishing or hanging out there. We have a lot of paving there. We have new environmental requirements. That's to help the water that comes off the site. Yes, we're adjacent to the Siwassee. We have requirements to slow down that water, filter that water before we put any water back in Siwassee. So that's a water feature there to capture that, filter that before we turn it loose into a natural body of water there. So, location of the building on the site has been discussed and we've talked about it. Frontage is an important thing. You have the opportunity to sell out parcels potentially. You know, we have looked at that. And if you own the buildings on Cedar Ward Parkway, and we do anticipate the main entrance being off Cedar Ward, I would say that we still would be back here and you sell out parcels there, but there's no real advantage to having it further back and having anything there because there's no real road frontage there. We've also had to look at flood elevation, soil condition, road alignment, and other features to find the best, most cost-effective way on where to place this building. This is a little bit behind where the J.C. Penney building is now, to give you some idea of where it's located there. But it lays out extremely well for that. Now, let's look at the actual building itself.
Yes, President.
Yes, sir.
Question.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned that the E911 Lima and Fire, is that building gonna be tornado-proof, if you will, because of the equipment and the need for them to be in a secure area?
Part of the core of the building will be what we call the hardened structure that will be more tornado-proof where E911 is and so-called war room will be, but probably not the entire structure, just too cost prohibitive. We do have a portion of the main building that is tornado-proof that we'll come back and talk about.
Thank you.
But yes, the heart and soul of it will be hardened for that very reason.
Thank you.
That's the heart and soul of our communication for the county. When we look at the main building, we try to simplify. We think that's the best way to handle it. And when we want to look at entry, we talked about one main entry there, which works well. But we wanted to separate our circulation paths. We're separating for safety and security. Same reason we wear a mask. Talk about employees versus security risk, etc. So people come in, we will have clear passive communication. We have coordination of where certain departments are located. Everyone has been very cooperative. We cannot tell you how good they've been to work with. They've not been demanding on what they would like. They've tried to say, hey, this is what we need. This is who we work with. This is who we need to be close to. These are people that we deal with on the public. This is what would help us do our job better. For instance, tax collecting, tax assessor, and people going back and forth. Well, you need to deal with this, but first you have to go over there. So we don't want them to have to go to the other end of the building to deal with things. So the relationship between those are important. One of the highest uses would be the justice court system. We have most of the courts on the second floor for a lot of security and safety reasons. The justice court sees a lot of activity there, but we also know that circuit and chancery court have a lot of daily activity. So we've located those things for those specific reasons. We've also put a receiving area, IT, facility, and maintenance department down there, because this building will require a lot of complicated oversight in one area there, so we don't have trucks driving up blocking the entrance to the building. All of that makes sense and is coordinated. But one of the big important elements, Mr. Miller, you mentioned is we have an area outside. This secure parking is all outside the building, as I mentioned earlier. That's that secure lot there. But we have a hardened area on the rear here. It's not a heated and cooled area. But you have the opportunity to put every employee and every public user of this building, should you have a tornado warning or some other crisis like that. We have no ability to get people out quickly and send them somewhere else. So this can be hardened. You can literally put everyone if you need to. If we're sitting in a tornado alley, as you all know, right in this area right there. So the opportunity to use it for that. It can also be used for parking, obviously, because you got to sit in there most of the time. And you can still have enough space even if cars and trucks are in there. Doors would come down, it's hardened roof, walls, ceiling, floor, etc. So it works well for that. But also, we have a component of the corridors, public corridor that runs on this side. You can get in there, central lobby, but then there's private corridors so that the staff can work and move independent. On the back side, they come in this door there. They can get up and down stairs and elevators without ever crossing with the public. The Sheriff's Department and our bailiffs have the opportunity to come to a secure sally port, close the door, bring prisoners in, secure them, number one, in holding cells down there to meet all the requirements for that, and then bring them upstairs with a secure elevator where you don't have people crossing paths like they do now. It's a much safer environment than we've historically seen before as we deal with that. And of course, we have restrooms scattered throughout. We have break areas. We have a lot of mechanical and cooling and electrical rooms, things that we need to support the building. Over on this end, the room like we're seeing it now is the boardroom or public meeting room. Most of this building is designed to be multi-use, just like this. We want this to be, it's where you meet, but we want it to be set up so that every public entity needs to use it within the county structure, community. County boardroom, and some of the dais there, It's got AV support that works better than it does now, so you can be seen, heard, television, etc. And movable chairs there in such a way that you can have multiple meetings, work sessions there. And that works extremely well. It's in a location that you can get to and get out easily, plus all the egress elements you need for that. We'll go to the next one. So, we've talked to Lee Dagger a lot about how we handle security, gun control, rights of those voters, etc. So when you go upstairs, you can be a stairs or elevator. You got both options, with 40 ADA accessible throughout. This becomes a really secure access point, a real easy, there's another way to get around it. You don't have to be able to go through that. It's like TSA at an airport. This becomes a secure, controlled public circulation corridor. You don't go down there unless you've been cleared to get down there. You should have business down there. They're not going to want to see some legal document. They have the right to go down there, as counsel can explain. But people aren't going to just be lollygagging and going down there and sightseeing, okay? They're going to have a reason to go down there. They're going to go do some security clearance to get down there. We also have secure vestibules leading into their sport rooms down there. But we also have taken the time to make sure that there are no sight lines going into it. What happened to Chancellor Smith should never happen again. We've taken great care to make sure that didn't happen externally, but we've also made sure that we have no sight lines directly into the courtrooms themselves. So we have the public side, we have all the meeting spaces, we have the public spaces, all the support spaces with it, and then on the back side we have the judge's offices that go with it. So we've got the Chancery Court rooms there, we've got the County Court, Circuit Court, and we have both courtrooms today. A large one's pretty much like we've got, and we've been able to shrink one for hearings. We have 2 judges, but we don't have 2 large courtrooms there. But there are times they have hearings when they do need 2 at the same time. We have the youth court that we're leaving the youth situation out there where it is. By statute, they cannot be around convicted felons and others. There's no way to really keep that on this site. We can't make that work. And these judges alternate on where they are and going back and forth and how it works. But their contained areas work well on the back of the building. They have that same private access. The secure holding area works good. They can bring those that need to come up and secure along the control corridor there in control supervision. The judges' chambers, their support staff along the back side. Break rooms for the various people are smaller in ideal areas, and we do have larger break rooms. Restrooms, ADA, appropriately labeled for proper use of there. At the same time, we have jury deliberation rooms that are self-contained so that you have restrooms, little refreshment areas there, and you have all that. We're trying to treat all of God's children and judges equally, best we can. There are 3 other important spaces up there with the county administration, including road department, district attorney, and public defender. You kind of need to be on the scene. The judges are really protected behind a wall or line. And yes, there are areas where attorneys can get to them and others going through public clearance, but you're set where you are in an area where the public can get to you without going through a higher set of security there. But yes, at the same time, you're in areas where you can be secure behind a lockable access door, be it public defender, VA, or your offices. We've got the road manager in this area there, Rush and his people, and this provides probably the most clean, organized concept we can think of in how we do this. Now, this is where we take the public safety concept of it and utilize 30,000 square feet by adding about 1,600 square feet. And you take E911 and you put it in the middle, you harden that structure we talked about, you make sure that that is safe, secure, all your communications there. You'll have a link in case you need a war room situation between the sheriff's department there, legal and volunteer department are there, and some other storage space for voting machines, etc. over there. Drug screening, testing over in that area there. and a large sheriff's department there. At the same time, Sally Port secure there. And then they really need an area to deal with vehicle examination, evidence, list, et cetera. They're adding about 1,600 square feet. And all of this is part of a secure compound. So it's very well protected. We think it's critical. This has full generator capability for this thing, probably more 24/7. You have limited generator capability for yours. Those essential functions in here, probably IT, some basic functions. But pretty much all this building would be on generator 24/7. Again, this is all part of a fenced and gated compound area with card access and will be controlled to that degree there. Sloppy, so if you take the way the main building looks, what we tried to do is find a good economical, clean, progressive look. This would be the front entrance. We are raising the building because of flood situations and because of safety and security. You don't want people driving into your building. We don't want to have to put steel bollards and posts everywhere. That's the main entrance, the two-story lobby space there. Public meeting room and board area there, your office above. These two quarters as we talked about. But to give you some idea of the safety and security, if you look in, for instance, the tellers at the Justice Court area behind the glass area that is bulletproof, solid glass, so that there's no transmission of vapors with COVID. There's no problem of safety with someone freaking out wanting to shoot someone there. It's also a step back. You also look at the court situation, they all line up, they have recessed doors there, and maybe one day you might even get lucky enough to have courtroom ABCD or 1, 2, 3, 4, and you might even have a common court administrator. Not saying it's there today, but there's an opportunity for that one day. And then you can see a grand entry area there that is large enough for the public to wait and gather, go to executive session, and things like that. And there are no flat roofs, Mr. Wells, no flat roofs. Every roof is sloped. And with that, I'd like Mr. McDonald, if you would, to talk a little bit about phasing, scheduling, and anything else you need to cover. Yes, sir.
Mayor, I noticed Miss Erin Kelly took a picture. Just want everybody to realize this is still a living document, and things can still be tweaked and changed. This is not.
And we'll get you a better image than I've always done. We always do.
So I liked how you gave the square footage numbers from what we're using today, what was estimated in the past, and where we're at today. I know one question that we're going to have is, can we still do better? If you're at 89, can we still? Is there still room?
I don't think you can without making a major mistake. And end up costing yourself in the long run when it comes to functionality. And you know, we're still working on it, but the answer is no today, that's all I know. But that doesn't mean we're not still trying.
John, when you watch the operation of the courtroom, I'll give you Chancery, for example. The number of hearings they have set for Chancery now, the number of people waiting to go to those hearings, that's a lot of people that you've got. They're waiting to come to the court, matter after matter, and you have to find somewhere to put those. Or you restrict that. I don't know how you do it. So just looking at what we have there now.
The opportunity for us to work smarter with online and how we think about and do things here, including Chancery and Circuit. The day of everybody coming in, filing through documents and things and access, we then want to think about doing a lot more online access and providing things. We just need to take advantage of this negative situation and make it positive.
And our Chancellor's doing that now with COVID.
Yes.
Where they've stopped having, we call them calicalls as appointments. It's not having calicalls, everybody shows up at 9 o'clock, you sit and wait. It's a mass of people. And the Chancellor reports online, but not all of the reports are online. So we're heading that direction, so.
Is there anything that's come out, good that's come out of COVID is it showed us what we can do. And we didn't cut it from, what did you say, 149,000, I think is what she had, to 89. We didn't do that just to be cheap. I mean, yes, of course, we're looking after the tax dollars, of course, but we're not doing it to be cheap. It's just through nutrition and technology and what COVID has shown us that we can do better with less. Unfortunately, the sheriff's department and drug court that's, unfortunately, that is a growing business, and we can't do anything with that, but everyone else can shrink.
It has forced some change and demonstrated that we can operate smart.
That's right.
Better.
I agree.
All right, and I'll say, once y'all are satisfied that we squeezed it as high as possible, square footage wise, we'll pivot into where can we cut up finishes or anything extra, from that aesthetic standpoint that might provide. So there's another step beyond just cutting square footage.
Now, can I, if you don't mind, Jeff, the front right there, so that is an open ceiling from the floor to the,
Only a very small part is the very first part there. Pull up that first floor plate if you would. Then you can place it. What you're seeing is glass that shows both first and second floor. There is a small slice, you would show it right there in front. That's only a small
oh,
portion.
okay,
Right
okay.
there.
You know, that's one good thing that's come out of us touring, how other people have done it, is it looks grand and looks great when you walk in, like at Ole Miss, we went, I mean, it is beautiful. But the one thing they said they would change is they wouldn't have that. It looks great, but it's a lot of open, wasted space that they could have used somewhere else. And even the one in Brandon, Rankin, they got a little bit too much. I mean, it looks great, but that's space that we can utilize.
We tried to learn from others everywhere. It was interesting. We had never seen Rankin County at all. And we went over after you folks had been, and it was ironic. The layout conceptually of ours is similar to that one just because it makes sense. It works.
And they got a whole lot more to overcome with hills and things.
They did. I would question their security on the judges a little bit with those picture windows on the back, but maybe they got a little bit pretty loud. Yes. You agree, don't you, Council?
But I do like it. I mean, it's, you know, I like it.
Well, and one thing that I'd like for the public to know is we haven't got to that stage where we're talking about aesthetic materials. We've been focusing on the floor plan, so we're not
We're trying to get the program right.
Square footage is down.
Increase the box and make sure it works. And I can tell you this, you've got some of the most positive employees who've dealt with some working environments that are anything but ideal. They come to work every day and care about the way it works. It's been amazing to watch. It really is.
All right.
I'll just also hit to timeline-wise, as everybody knows, mall's coming down, it looks great, progressing really well. We'll be wrapped up this month as far as structure coming down. So the next phase is rush with bidding and crushing of that foundation. And of course, that material is going to be a huge asset to the county, and they'll be crushed and use it throughout. So that operation will be bid and awarded, and crushing will stop. And just on the heels of that, we'll start bidding packages. The timing will work out perfectly. So in August, we anticipate having our early site package let, which would basically get the pad, the dirt pad, and the utilities, and sort of everything around this new construction building started. And then October, on the heels of that package, would be the advertising, bidding of the building packages. So there'd be a general trades package that includes most all the construction with the exception of mechanical and plumbing, electrical and fire protection. Those packages would be advertising bid by themselves. And then we would coordinate all the work together to get the best value that way. So, and those will be bid in October, so is that early site package and maybe a pilot package for completed, that foundation and steel could start right behind it. And then at the very end of it, there would be a final package that handles a lot of site work, landscaping, and signage, and some of the stuff that y'all are going to need a little more time to make sure the building is right. So we're excited. The progression is working really well. We'll be on the heels of the road department, doing the crushing, so working the same flow with construction with flows, everything.
Now, the county, we are responsible for the demo of the concrete, of the foundation. Or will we be responsible for the bed of it, the pad? Because I know that needs to be compacted. I mean, that's a little more to it, dumping and running over the dozer.
So right now, the way you all have it set up is you all are breaking up the slab and crushing it up into an aggregate that you can use for roads and general use out of the county. And then a contractor would come in and start building that dirt pad, action and bring it up.
So we'll contract the pad.
I'll be the big package one.
But all along the way, if there's something that the county can perform, we'll try to pull that out and let you all do it. So we'll just continue to evaluate scopes of work.
As we go.
We've done it before where the counties, did the work and saved some money. Good as well.
It's time efficient.
Yes, and that's the beautiful thing, is we're able to break it into pieces and stair step and overlap pieces, doing it like this. We're following right on the heels of what Rush is doing, If you look at the timeline for these things, it's kind of small, but they kind of overlap, which is good. What's really good is breaking into pieces is you'll be able to utilize a lot of local contractors and subcontractors. Because you're one single lump sum deal, it would really eliminate almost all your local participation. And that's sad. If you go about local, nothing's more local than your local government.
Now, that is one thing that I want our local people to, as much as we can. I know some things are outside of what, some of them can do or can, or they have the expertise but may not have the time. But if there's something that someone local can do, that's
We want them to have the
that's the focus.
opportunity.
Closer to time, we'll have a sub outreach where we, more than just putting it in the paper and advertising. We'll make sure everybody knows. Have some kind of event, very similar to this, when you have complete construction documents. Get up in front of a room full of contractors and subcontractors, make sure they understand the project, they're excited about
It's
it.
an invitation.
And I hope is to where, several businesses, local businesses can go together and bid on one larger unit of it. And that's what my hopes are, is we can put everybody to work, because there's enough there for everyone.
And I think that's one thing this board has been known for, is your commitment to local. It's very much appreciated from everyone that there's the expertise, and like you said, they have to reach out and get others to join. There's local expertise, which I think is really low, but this is a great example of that opportunity in that. But so far, it's really working well. Snyder's done a great job of being on schedule. We're trying to keep this thing, we would really like to get the building package before the general election. We think that's an important, timeline back for a lot of reasons. And so far, that's why we're going to keep pushing you to make these decisions. If you vote.
Thank you.
I'll answer any questions you have.
And the board members have any questions for Mr. Luke?
I got a personal question for both of them. I hate to put you on the spot, and it could be approximate, but we hear how the Facebook warriors are about we should have gotten someone else that's more qualified to do this. Can you tell me how many courthouses you've been, or government buildings that you have been involved with personally?
Probably 30 to 40 starts back in the early 80s with the federal courthouses, also South Carolina, and from the Carolinas, probably Mississippi, between the city and the county, entity-wise, probably 8 or 10 counties, and probably that many different city owners.
I'm not counting universities, that dorm rooms are bigger than this.
Fire stations, courthouses, city halls, things like that. Plus we have, we're going to bring in, down in Dan Redstone, he's a public safety complex guru from all over the country. We need a public safety building, we want his expertise in that piece of it. We also have the national code guy. This building is very complex on the base code and safety and security. We use HAL engineers out of Boston. done that vending machine takings excellent. So we're gonna make some people at the table that went outside the brush out these things. Yates and nobody voted against the party.
Just approximate, you know, because everybody thinks you're still,
Bill's gonna get upset here now.
we know a lot of people think you still have training wheels on. You know, that you're still trying to learn how to ride a bike.
I can't really guess how many we've done.
So it's more
I think
than
we
one or
just
two.
completed, GSA Federal Courthouse above Bill, 2 buildings, $100 million. Tarrant County, we just finished Pensacola. I personally renovated the shovel. We do $2 billion a year, a good chunk of this
Small
public
contract.
building.
Yeah. I know y'all are small time.
It's a lot.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to sort of clear that for a lot of people that don't know your background.
Just one little question, when do you think we could have, and I know you're still dilly-dallying, when do you think we may have an estimated cost?
I'm gonna say we'll get together now that we sort of pin this down, get together, put together what's called a schematic narrative, which describes how the building will be constructed. Then we need about 3 to 4 weeks to put together an estimate. So I'm gonna say, 4 to 5 weeks, we can have a good, what's called a ROM, like a rough order of magnitude, to make sure that we're on the right track. And then from that point, we can squeeze in and continue to navigate, range at your target.
I appreciate
There'll be
that.
a constant navigation and
Thank you.
Yes, sir,
One
Mr.
other-
Todd.
I know it's gonna be done in phases, but can like phase, like 1 and 2 be sort of going while we're working out like what type of material we're using, whether we wanna go expensive, middle class, you know?
We're gonna have all the answers on the building itself while we're actually doing building phase 1, and we will have to make enough decisions to keep this thing on track. We'll make that decision, the piling locations and those will be determined. There will still be decision about finishes, what it costs.
So we don't have to know what color carpet we want in every office before we
It's kind
start.
of a semi-fast track methodology.
If you waited for every answer, you would either never start, or you would start sometime next year when inflation is at 4%.
And then not to mention changing their minds on what they want to.
You keep chasing the budget number, you never get there.
So, and also, as part of the schedule, we have this old LabCorp building, this sort of wild card that we could accelerate tackling that building. It's a renovation, the structure's already there, it's in good shape. So that's gonna be on its own path, and hopefully can move faster the rest of it.
And I'd like to see your ideas on what that would look, on what, the old LabCorp building would look like outside. We know what it looks like inside, but
We'll be providing all that, and I reached out to Mr. Rutledge, I'm sure he could be here today, told him it would be glad to bring you up to speed. It's very important that all of y'all come to this.
Anything else?
Mr. Noel, anything from you, sir?
I do not have anything, sir. I just still, I see some different in your plan. Like I said, it's a living document, so we get to the bottom of it.
Yes, sir.
I know we've got this, going down the corridor with the courtrooms, you've got that enhanced security thing.
Right.
The idea being that there's no reason to go down that hallway unless court is in session, which is the reason why we have that level of enhanced security. Same question on the bottom floor, if you go into the justice courtroom. The courtroom should not be open unless.
It will be locked.
So is there gonna be something in the hallway, a security checkpoint, that consider doing that, or?
At the same time, you've got IT down there, you've got facility maintenance, you've got circuit court, et cetera. There's so many other transactions that go on down that corridor, probably do their part.
There's a justice court teller area.
Like where you get to the court. The
Right.
courtroom itself will be locked.
Right, but, and I understand there, the justice court, the public's gotta have access to that.
Right.
But between the clerk's office and then the courtroom, we thought about potentially putting security over there.
We can do that. We could.
The
But
public,
when the court's in session or there's a security there, the courtroom's locked, I don't know we need to, but the court's in session and another security point there, is that what you're about?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
We can easily do that.
Where you're screening people before they get to the court door. just like you do upstairs.
Right, and we could easily, have a mobile, screening station down in there, mobile detector, et cetera. Easy.
I know we're hearing often from the sixth floor about improving security for justice court. And justice court, you said justice court, they roll justice court. So,
And the point is, they don't go past that point, which includes that waiting area down there, unless they clear that security point. If they come past it, they got to come back through it, it's clear.
and really, the IT, you've got IT down here, the public would be going.
No, they wouldn't be going to it, but facility management, those people really don't have any direct need to get to them.
Right.
That's more internal people that need that stuff. And their external communication is really through the loading documents and that area. Thank y'all very much, we appreciate it.
All right, I'd like to thank Mr. Luke for that presentation. We're down to number 8. We'll allow our attorney and all to reposition themselves after their presentation, and we'll call on them. You can't hear me? I'm sorry. Let me speak up because I'm very loud. I apologize for that, man. Thanks for letting me know you can't hear me. I was thanking the architects for giving us the update, and I was saying let's allow our administrator and attorney to get back to their seat, and we'll move on with the agenda. Next on the agenda will be our sheriff, Sheriff Bill Solid. Morning.
Morning, sir.
Like y'all remember, 17 years ago today, I had here at Miller Lake. 17 years ago tomorrow, Monday morning. Please thank those who lost lives, or those tragedy. Thank you for our community.
Okay.
As usual, my agenda starts off with personnel. We have listed there personnel no longer associated or associated with sheriff's department. Item 2 is opportunity for us to continue on with the road road. 2 decades now. Sergeant Logan, retired. Active duty for the sheriff's department. Listed block 45 millimeter surplus. First set of deal.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second in the discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have the motion carried. Sheriff?
As been said today, our business is good. That guys are aware it's time for us to replenish our light roads, rotators here on the community, national boards, well, transfer $5,000 out of one for dashboard,
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have the motion carried. Sheriff?
That's all I have to mention. That's the rest of
Does anyone have any questions or concerns for the sheriff?
Sorry, I missed it when you started.
You can look at the video.
Hearing none, sir. Thank you. Have a great day. Next up is our tax assessor, Mr. James Rainey.
Good morning, sir.
Very good.
Mr. President, on the tax assessor's recommendation, I so moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Mr. Rainey.
Second thing, I'd like to thank 2020 Lamb Road. City now.
Where's my real?
This allows us to move into the 21st century computer. Building. They put all this on, y'all remember. This gives everybody the opportunity to have this now.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
But anyway, decided this is not to be a road. So, the reason that's significant is every day, people on the road, makes it very hard to get out. We had the opportunity this year, $2 or $3 alternatives to do it.
Do we need a motion on
So
that?
moved.
No, we don't, there's nothing, you just present it now. I've got an order on the legal agenda that will address that, and, so we'll take it up, we'll just submit it for.
Hey, let me ask you something. I don't see a mic in front of you, and I see a mic there. It's a little out of order. Does that mic go up there?
It does.
Do we not need a mic where people can hear him? Or is that the mic for you guys? Y'all got two mics there. Does they not work?
These mics don't,
They don't. Okay.
we can,
Yeah, this mic's been sitting here since we repositioned.
I understand. It's just the fact that the lady couldn't hear me in the back, and I know they can't hear you because you don't have a microphone. That's all I was saying. If you would, you can proceed just knowing that you don't have a microphone, sir. Maybe they can hear. I don't know. They can hear me.
If you can't, I'll repeat. Thank y'all for the roles, but you know, as we all go through these times, have a team you put together anytime in office, each one of y'all have a function that really is. I'd like to recognize our team, stand the service they've done. And on top of that, let's think about homestead, except for a few mandatory days. There's people in our office taking homestead to make sure no one in this county didn't have the opportunity. And on top of that, they extended to 34 days. They were here every day to make sure that they was here. Every day the people in the county come to work. They all have a responsibility. Sometimes when commented on the government workers and this type of thing, just like everything seems to be pretty efficient, especially in Norfolk County. Y'all's directions, everybody's connected to this county. I appreciate y'all very much giving us this support. Like I said, I'd like to thank the team here today. I think a few days off, that's where it's coming.
Don't blame you.
That's just basically it. I just want to thank them personally, because we come from a world sometimes of military, awards and things.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir, Mr.
I
Newell.
just have a comment, and certainly want to thank your team, because this is my 13th year, and the last year was smoother than the year before, so I look for this year to be smoother than last year, and certainly, as a supervisor, I certainly want to thank you and your team Appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, anyone else have any comments? Okay, Mr. Rainey, anything else?
That's all. Thank y'all very much for y'all's support.
Thank you. Down to number 10, and we'll call on our road manager, Mr. Royce Mayak.
Thank y'all for coming in.
Yeah.
Great job.
Morning.
First item I got on my agenda, leave and approve of work off right-of-way at 4704 Cosbyville Road. This work is needed to fill in a vacant well, a safety concern that will promote the health, comfort, and convenience of the inhabitants of Florida.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Mr. Mayor.
The second item, need approval to work off right-of-way at 4120 Subwina Meehan Road. This work is needed to correct drainage issues that will help preserve and maintain county roads and right-of-way and will promote the health, comfort, and convenience of the inhabitants of Florida County.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
Third item, need approval to advertise for bids on crushing the concrete at Salvage and Old Mall site.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
how long we gonna take bids?
Whatever that legal.
The state statute is two consecutive weeks, and then you wait 7 days, and then you have to be open. So between, if we could get them in, say, this Thursday, so you'll run it for 2 consecutive Thursdays, and then the end of the month, 1st of August, we get it on.
Sooner the better. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
meanwhile, while we're waiting on that, our guys will be working on that slab.
Third time, we're gonna get in there and do our thing. By the time these bids get back and we have a contractor selected, we can put out the work.
I just want everybody to know, no downtime on waiting on that slab.
No, and I'm ready to put this under Stephanie's hands and get it out today.
Anything else? Mr. Mayor?
Gotta have a vote.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second.
You done had the
We got a
second.
motion and a second.
Second, and we had discussion.
Ready to vote.
Okay, let's question it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Mr. Mayor.
And the last item there, need approval to hire Donald Coe as a laborer at $10.13 per hour, still vacancies in the garage.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Mr.
That's
Mayor.
all I have on my agenda, unless y'all got something.
Any question for your road manager, gentlemen?
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mooney, how are you this morning? Morning.
Morning.
First item, I would like to submit for inclusion in the minutes, the public notice providing of the date and time of this meeting pursuant to section 254113 Mississippi Code of 1972. My next item, I need board approval for the first claims docket for the month of July and to authorize the clerk to issue the warrants.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Ms. Mooney.
My next item, I have 2 oaths of office that I need board approval for.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Ms. Mooney.
Mr. President, that concludes my agenda.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Any further questions for you, Chancery Clerk? Okay, good. All right, next is our County Administrator, Mr. Lafferty.
Good morning.
Morning.
Board,
Good morning.
Mr. President. So my first order is I need approval of the following Paulsboro burial, Mr. Otis Gooden.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have, motion carried. Mr. Lafferty.
My next one, I need approval to accept the RFPs for the Recovery Campaign Advertising Agency for Tourism Care Grant. We're just accepting the RFPs with last week.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have, motion carried. Mr. Lafferty.
My next item, I'm gonna piggyback off of number 2 here. So in talking with Dee Dee and working through some of the RFPs and things like that, it's come up that there might need to be a committee formed to review those, just to make sure that everybody's qualified and all that good stuff. And Dee Dee, do you want to speak to that before I officially put it on the agenda and work through what a committee would look like?
No, just through further conversation, there was a discussion that the supervisors might be more involved in regards to reviewing RFPs and presentations, and what that looks like and how in-depth we want that to be in conjunction with the Tourism Commission we could discuss.
So part of my suggestion is, a couple courses of action is you guys form like an internal committee and y'all take care of it, or a couple supervisors and one or two of her committee members and maybe a person from that, the public, but that will benefit from that. But I definitely think that a approved and appointed committee.
Don't we have, who's on tourism committee?
Me and you?
No, not me. I'm not on tourism.
Excuse me.
Two of y'all. You have any recommendation how you want to proceed with this, Ms. Dee Dee?
There are conversations, if we are going to have a committee that additionally reviews these, my recommendation would be the 2 supervisors that are on the tourism committee, 2 commission members from the tourism commission, and perhaps a 5th person with marketing experience, advertising, buying, things of that nature.
Okay, will you gentlemen serve on this committee? Bring us an update, right?
So we need to, I just want to make sure that when we include it in the minutes that we have it right. So is the intent to have 2 supervisors, her board appoint 2 people, her advisory board appoint 2 people, and then her board be responsible for finding that member of the community, or how is that person?
I'll just let her commission do that. You object to that? Unless y'all got some recommendation. Okay.
And the only other thing I can think of is if we looked at them, we're the ones going to be sitting here voting on it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, if I'm gonna vote on something, I wanna see it.
Of course, I thought we were having a committee to go over something.
Yeah.
All of
As
us
long
can
as you bring
serve
it back,
on the
I'm
committee.
good. But not the day of.
I understand that.
Hey, this thing is on a time
I'll
frame.
report, if you don't mind, that we'd like to convene this immediately.
Yeah.
These funds have to be used by the end of the year, so we need to do this week. Present to the supervisors, because we have to negotiate a contract on August 20th to go ahead and start this campaign. July 20th.
Sure.
To start this campaign.
So I just want to be clear off of your comment that me and Mr. Newell, we come down and we're a part of this, that he and I will not say yea or nay to anything before I come back to the board to present.
And I would assume that this committee, after having reviewed everything, and depending on what you want to review, there were 17 RFPs with an average of 65 to 70 pages apiece, some were 100. We narrowed those down to 4 final presentations. So those are all Zoom presentations. We can convene a Zoom meeting. Those presentations were about 50 minutes apiece. And so there's grading criteria and everything that you can follow along with as well. So we can meet after this in regards to what the structure of that looks like, so that you're comfortable that it was reviewed in full when that presentation is made to you.
I personally think it would be a good idea if you would email me or provide a way that we could, even though Ms. Newell, Ms. Wells are on the deal, on the committee, provide an opportunity for the rest of the board to see those, whether it's a link to a Dropbox or something like that.
All 17 RFPs?
I thought you said you narrowed down to 4.
We did.
I don't know if, no, please.
You've been more involved in this than we have. I appreciate the fact that we're invited to be a part of this. Since you've been involved, do you need to stay involved?
Well, I can be just on the periphery. I mean, I'm not a voting member. I don't need to be involved in that side, but as far as the facilitating side, I think it's a good idea to sit in the back and take a look. That's okay.
Well, you'll have to anyway, if you have 2 board members meeting on a committee. You have to
We
take-
need to discuss whether or not we want to do those in person, or whether or not we want to do those via Zoom. I can be there and facilitate any questions you may have. Our industry loves to use acronyms, CDMA and ADR and all those things thrown around, and I can explain what those definitions are. Listen, I had that same.
I had to go through a class.
I just wish I knew of an outside, at-large person that would be non-biased and can actually have good input, not input swayed, swayed one way or another, but straight down the line, tell you exactly what it is. Someone who doesn't have a dog in the race, someone who's gonna give you their honest opinion on what they think is best. I don't know who that would be.
If you'd like, I'll be happy to recommend some individuals, and if you want them local, within the community that don't have a title of supervisors or us who have marketing experience, and perhaps give you 3 options and let you select who that person is. We certainly want someone who buys media, who does advertising strategy. We really want someone educated who does it in person.
And I hate to just throw a name out, but I mean, I don't know what to do. I mean, I just think about commercials you see on TV. What's probably the most thing you see on TV right now? Car lots. I mean, they buy, and then they don't advertise just here in Lauderdale County. They advertise everywhere to try to get people to come in. So, I mean, they purchase, they buy, they do the
They
whole
likely
9
wouldn't be
yards.
the owner.
And I was actually and I hate to even throw a name out, but what's his, Moose Out Ford guy? Yeah. I mean, he may be an at-large person that has nothing to lose and nothing to gain over this contract, but, I mean, you see him on TV all the time. As dumb as the commercials are, but that's what gets people to
And
watch.
provided he's actually one placing them.
Yeah,
Not just the
yeah,
owner of the company.
yeah.
The
Well, I
owner
mean,
of the company.
I'm sure he's got some say in it, but
Right.
But whoever his person is.
Exactly, that's my point. Whoever the
And
person
it
who
doesn't have to
actually
be
does the job.
just that particular one. I know we got Nissan there where everybody else, that's what I was just sort of thinking, and at large.
The challenge is the timing of
Yeah, I mean,
that
that's
person, whether or not,
gonna be yeah.
because she said you can come up with names, you're not gonna meet again between now and then, and they wanna go ahead and commence that, given our, we've got a timeline. We spend that money for the year that they need to get moving on that
Here's what
project, so.
I would recommend to meet your point. If we could, by the end of the day, text me some names that you might think of. I'll reach out to them, ensure that they're a purchasing person, purchased their media, and I'll have 3 recommendations for you by tomorrow of those venues, and ensure that they are available for the RFP process. And at the same time, Chris and I will be talking about setting up how we do it virtually or in person, how the timeline for this week that we do that, but let's just keep moving with it.
And you 4 may be able to do it. I mean, you may not have to have that 5th person. And the 5th, or the 3rd vote may be the whole board as a whole. The board as a whole.
Well, my only recommendation for that is that, our team does marketing every day. And if you want an independent opinion, you really need someone in the marketing field so that you're not just relying on my word, you're relying on an independent person to say, this is what that means, or yes, that makes sense, or yes, this is important. You need that marketing voice.
So would this be a good suggestion, is to say that 2 members, Mr. Wells, Mr. Newell, 2 members appointed by the president of the Tourism Commission, and one member of the public that's agreed upon and appointed by the Board of Supervisors through Mr. Wells and Mr. Newell.
Mr. Chief Deputy Calhoun's on TV all the time.
So that,
He knows marketing.
and
Create
again,
a whole new department here almost.
and you guys also get the final say regardless of what the committee comes back and says. So if it's something that you're not comfortable with, even after she provides the 17 RFPs.
Wait a minute. Are y'all gonna go back through the 17 RFPs?
I think recommendation.
It comes from the tourism board.
Have
and
you
we
put that out
already-
there? I'm sorry, have you put it out that you narrowed it down at 4? And you're gonna
It's
go
in all
back?
of your email, the rankings for all of the agencies, the process, the timeline, and the final review is all in the email message.
But the issue is, Dee Dee and I were talking about this last week, is those 4 recommendations, they don't come from her commission or a review committee. That comes from Dee Dee and Steve. And I don't know that that's a risk that they should assume.
Ultimately, what you're gonna get is gonna be a recommendation, which is the contracting decision belongs to you alone. So you'll have to make the decision who to hire.
I tell you, we understand how the makeup of the committee is. We can convene a Zoom call later this afternoon with committee members to determine exactly what you want to review and some names that might be available for the process and how you want the process to work later this week if that works for you.
And then for the 5th person, it'll be agreed upon between a member of the public, though. We have to word it today to move forward. So what's the best way to word it for that member of the public?
I can present you by the end of the day 3 names and their experience, and then you can choose.
The committee chief.
Fine with me.
Okay, so just want to make sure that I'm getting the intent right.
So the board's gonna delegate to the 2
Right.
committee members to decide who that 3rd person, that 5th person is.
So we'll have 2 members appointed by we'll have Mr. Wells and Mr. Newell, 2 members appointed by the President of the Tourism Commission, and 1 member that will be, 1 member of the public that will be appointed by the Board of Supervisors representatives, Mr. Wells and Mr. Newell. That kind of, I think that sounds good. All right, so, I need approval to form a review committee for the Recovery Campaign Advertising Agency for Tourism. That will include Mr. Jonathan Wells and Mr. Wayman Newell, 2 members appointed by the President of the Tourism Commission, and 1 member of the public appointed by the Board of Supervisors representatives, Mr. Wells and Mr. Newell. I need to approve my amendment to my agenda to say that.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Are there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
And then, I need an approval for that amendment.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
Thank you. And then, next, I need approval to appoint Ms. Leah Hill to the Tourism Commission to fulfill the term of Tim Walker's, which expires in 2021. And, you want to explain why that is, with Tim leaving?
Obviously, you've heard the news. Tim has moved on to the ABC affiliate in Hattiesburg. So we're losing Aaron Ray, which we hate to see. So we have a position of a county appointee on the Tourism Commission. After looking around, we have reached out to Leah Hill, who's willing to serve, and she has as you know, she's the Vice President of Institutional Advancement at NCC, has had lots of very prestigious appointments, but has a Bachelor of Science in Communication, has a Master's Certificate in Social Media and Communication. So when I met Leah, she initially was working for an ad agency, so lots of experience in marketing, very good connection with the college, and I think she's well known and respected throughout the community, and many of you know.
Second.
We have a motion and a second in the discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, the motion carries. Chris,
Anything else, Regional? Okay, I'll be in touch after the meeting, thanks.
thank you.
Next, I need approval to repay an advance of $103,360 from the general fund to Help Mississippi Boat Fund 025 as grant reimbursements have been received.
For a motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Mr. Lafferty.
Next, I need approval to advance $58,500 from the general fund to the DOJ BJA COVID-19 Fund 038. This will be paid back when grant funds are received.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Mr. Lafferty.
My next item is an item of discussion that Mr. Rutledge asked me to bring up and present since he obviously isn't here. He was contacted by the FCA and they have asked for a $500 donation for a new vehicle that they are, one of the guys is wanting to purchase. And one of the suggestions that Mr. Rutledge had was he recognizes that they're not on the donation list, but he says that one of his suggestions is to divide that up and pay it out of your pocket, your personal pocket, or to take the $1,500 that was returned from the baseball part. Some guy's name slips.
Sherry Scott.
Right. To take that $1,500 and put $500 toward this new vehicle.
Which is Mr.
Close enough.
Hey,
He looked at
the other guy over there. Yeah.
So, trying to recall the timeline when we made that donation.
That was last summer.
Okay, so, but since then, we made the policy, set the budget. I love FCA, I do. But we're gonna open that Pandora's box back up. You know, we've made that, we've drawn that line in the sand and saying we're not gonna do that. So, as much as I'm for the cause, you know, that's my stance, is I'm afraid that we're gonna open that Pandora's box back up and that's gonna set a new precedent, and that line that we were in the sand last budget season is gonna be gone.
Mr. President.
Hold on a second, Mr. Thacker.
Chris mentioned a donation list. Now, understand we're talking about the statute that lists different nonprofits that you can donate to. You know, you have your advertising statute, all right, versus, and that's what a list in your budget you've done of advertising, different events, that sort of thing. We're talking about contributing to buying a vehicle, which is more, there you're looking at that statute about whether or not you can contribute to different nonprofits. I'm pretty sure FCA is not one of those nonprofits. So, it's just beyond what you can do aside from the ordinary advertising.
Okay, can we just take a look and see legally where we are with this? I understand the advertising, the county resources that we got away from that.
Yeah, I will. And I may, before the end of the meeting, probably got to pull the statute, let's look at it, but I'm 99% sure FCA is not. Good calls, but not all good causes are on that list. Multi County is one that's on that list. We had local private looks at.
And to my recollection, we have two organizations that has legislation that we actually can contribute to, and that's Red Cross and the Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club, yes. I think Red Cross is on the list.
Right. Okay, what's your wishes on this?
Just take a look.
Okay, all right.
And it was just a discuss. He wasn't asking for any action. He just asked that since he wasn't here that I address that and bring it to call.
Yeah, let's talk about it on the 16th.
While we're on that subject, you mentioned the gentleman's name. What was his name? Scott?
Jared Scott, the one we made the contribution to.
We made the contribution last year.
Right.
I've been on board, I guess, for almost 9 years now, and that is the first time
He called me and told me that.
anyone has returned money. And I just like to give him a pat on the back or whatever. A thank you, because that's the first time that I can remember that ever happened.
Of course, when that money comes back to you, it's public money.
Right.
So you're operating by the same restrictions that you normally do on public money.
Okay. All right, we'll just table this matter until the next work session, if that's okay. Y'all have any ideas, get with Mr. Rutledge when he return and support FCA. Anything else, Mr. Lafferty?
No, sir.
Y'all have any question for your administrator, Mr. Lafferty? Here now, we'll move on to legal matters with our counselor, Mr. Thaggett.
Yes, following up on the tax assessor's presentation, I have for you item 1, to consider a motion to approve an order of the Board of Supervisors in the matter of the real and personal assessment rolls of Lauderdale County, Mississippi. That order is approved every year. There's a form of this. Acknowledges that the rolls have been delivered in legal form. This sets July 20 at 9 a.m. for you to equalize the rolls. Of course, that time you'll convene as the Board of Equalization and do that. Then following, after you complete that equalization, which you must do at least 10 days before then you start hearing objections, sets August 3rd in this room at 1 p.m. to start hearing objections to the assessments. So I ask you to consider that motion, please.
Second.
Well, motion and a second in the discussion. Here now, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Mr. Thaggett.
Also, an annual item is to consider a motion to approve the order adopting the motor vehicle schedule for 2021 fiscal year for Lauderdale County, Mississippi, and that will set a public hearing on that for July 20, 2020 at 9:15 a.m.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second in the discussion. Here now, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
Next item is to consider an application for a Freeport warehouse license. It's by Marathon Petroleum Company, and that's relative to the Meridian Maple Terminal.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second in the discussion.
This is just to consider, correct?
Correct. Well, to approve it. Yeah.
Further discussion. Here now, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Mr. Thaggett.
Next item, at your last meeting, you set a public hearing on a nuisance matter, use of vernacular, common vernacular there. I'm asking you to consider a motion to reset the public hearing for August 3, 2020 for 10 a.m. to determine whether the property located at 4266 Bailey Acres Circle, PIN number 24146, constitutes a menace to public health and safety of the community.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second in the discussion.
And one of the reasons why is that, aside from getting the proper notices out, is that we had this set for July 20th, and that day we already have 4 public hearings set for the July 20th meeting. So so it just seems better to move that to August 3rd. Some of those are dealing with the fire districts, so there's so many of that.
So moved.
You get a motion, second already.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on that? Here now, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Mr. Thaggett.
Next item, ask to consider a motion to ratify and approve the electronic payment service agreement with Ion Payment Systems to serve as the exclusive electronic payments provider for the Office of the Tax Collector effective June 13, 2020.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Here now, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Mr. Thaggett.
Item 6, I've got one ad valorem tax exemption for you to consider, and that's actually consider approving a resolution or order granting an exemption from ad valorem taxes to the Courts of Praise Ministries, Inc. That's relative to PIN number 19106 beginning January 1, 2020, and to continue for so long as the property is used in accordance with the applicable provisions of the laws of the state of Mississippi, and that property is used as a church.
Wishes of the board.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
And the city has already approved the exemption.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have, motion carried. Mr. Thacker.
Last item is not with, just actually an update, is that, of course, at your last meeting, we approved, or actually ratified and approved, the request of the legislature for local and private legislation, dealing with some fees and assessments by the Justice Court. That has made it all the way through the legislature. It's with the governor now. It's pending signature from the governor. It's due back from the governor on July the 7th, I believe. So I expect that our next meeting will be in a position to, assuming the governor signs it, don't know any reason why he wouldn't. I think that we'll have the resolution for you to finalize that. So, subject to questions, that completes the legal agenda.
Y'all have any question for the attorney? Hearing none, we'll move on down the agenda to staff. Oh, okay, it's not staff report. Other matters for general good and welfare. Anyone in the audience like to come before the board at this time? Please, if you would, state your name and address, please. You have 5 minutes. Okay, take your time, man. Don't want to rush you.
My name is Susan Parker, and I'm here on behalf of the statute. There are people, well, I've got my own notes. Hold on. Well, I know basically what I'm going to say.
Would you state your address, Ms. Parker, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. State your address.
My address?
Yes, ma'am.
3704 49th Court, Meridian, Mississippi.
Okay, thank you.
I'm born and bred in Mississippi and delighted and proud of it. There are people who have money, and there are people who are rich. I have very limited money, but I'm very rich, thanks to my parents, especially my mother, who taught me to look at both sides of an issue. The war between the states was a horrible, horrible war, as we all know. It was a very hurtful time for our country. The statute, if you read it, it mentions the women and children. They suffered greatly. The young men had to go fight whether they wanted to or not. And just like in our wars. I know y'all are considering making the courthouse into a museum, which I think is absolutely marvelous. Because, as the saying goes, if we don't know our history, we're doomed to repeat it. And I have a patient that taught me something one time. I worked at Riley's for 28 years as a social worker. And she was dying with COPD, and at the time I thought she was old because she was 62. Now I'm older than that, but she told me something her mother taught her. We come in this world going. If we don't have museums and correct information to teach us history, there's another saying, we're doomed to repeat it. So I'm requesting that we leave the statute, and I do hope we can turn the courthouse into a museum, because it will help teach our young people our history. Because we are very blessed to be in Meridian and to be from Mississippi. And that is basically what I want to say, but I'm going to conclude with one more quote. I read this at a cemetery, and some people think it's morbid, but I like to walk through cemeteries and read the tombstones and reflect on the lives of the people there. And there was one that I read, and I think it was at Dunlop. It said, as you are, I once was. As I am, you will be. And that's why I'm requesting that we leave the statute so that we can learn, and that the museum be made into, the courthouse be made into to help. And if I had the money, I'd give y'all the money to do it. But anyway, that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else in the audience? Please, sir. If you would, state your name and address, please.
Stan Watts, 2116 Grand Avenue. I have a signed petition to advise people, everyone involved with Lake Road. I'd also asked last time about tire dumping. I haven't heard from anyone about that, getting them, moving forward with that, and also the Anderson Road section that we, all that stuff has been submitted as well on that partial closure of Anderson Road. I just want to see where I stand on everything, where I need to go from here.
Okay, the petition you just presented is a petition for what?
Maybe Lake Road.
Closing it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, what's your second issue?
Second one was, I mentioned the location off of that Veterans Lake Road, where there's several hundred tires back there. Having that cleaned up, or getting on to whatever that, there was somebody that the county had about dump sites. He was given a phone number. I haven't heard anything from them. And I turned in with Rush. It's been about a year now on the portion of Anderson Road being closed. I haven't heard anything.
Okay. Rush, you have any comments, concerns?
I know the Veterans Lake illegal dump site, Mark, has that pictures of it. We had got out there cleaned up, which is about one side of the line. We're trying to use later to do that. So that we can be, they've been earmarked before, but I do think, just go kind of low back for that's where you get.
And this is the one right over next to the Waco land, that he marked. This is a spot prior to the road being opened back up again. It used to go all the way through Waco landfill back around the Anderson Road landfill when it was taken over by Waco. They cut that road right there, out of sight, out of mind, and it's at the top of that hill up there. That was the direction they had to go to get to it. There's no way to even access it. This is all one and the same. Where you come across the spillway, go up the hill, going back north, and you cut back towards the landfill down in that hole right there. I'll be glad to show it to you. This was a new one to me until this past fall. I saw it.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
Just want to know well, I guess what's the next step? What do I do?
Well, you just presented the attorney with the petition. Mr. Thacker, you want to get him?
Yeah, you guys take it under advisement, then there's a process you have to go through, set a public hearing to potentially close, Veterans Lake Road. The Anderson Road, didn't they reopen that dump in operation now? Is that where we're taking the stuff from the mall?
That's correct.
Okay.
This is a portion of Anderson Lake Road, Anderson Road, where it comes off Grand Avenue, goes to the top of the hill, the city and closes. Portion of that road there, there's a section there in the county. That we used to have that closed as well.
Okay.
The landfill all has paved access for their direction.
On that same road?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'd like to commend the sheriff's department. They made a recent drug bust over there. It was very helpful. It was getting out of hand. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Sheriff's Office. Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience like to come before the board at this time? Okay, seeing no movement, we'll move down to action from supervisors.
Anything, sir?
Mr. Newell?
All I would like to say is that the Corona, 4th of July, I saw a lot of people just enjoying themselves, they barbecues and peaches and so forth. Certainly hope that they remember that this stuff is real.
Mr. Todd?
All right, I was reading over this email that was sent to me a couple weeks ago by Russ Andriaco. He's the, what do you call him?
Weems?
With Weems and MID. All right, MID is in the process of needing to add 2 new machines to their production line, which, they'll be able to do different jobs other than what they're doing now, because I know some of them have been playing out. And they just asked if we could, it needs some electrical plugs, and I have it here, I can forward it to y'all. It's, needs some circuit breakers, some plugs, and I'm trying to see, let me get to the other one. What the total is $1,926 is what the total was a quote from Woodall.
Don't we own that building?
We did.
We leased, we got a building we leased from the state. And the state actually just renewed that lease.
On MID?
Where MID is.
We own the building, we may lease the
We leased to
property.
MID.
We leased the property, well, we own the building.
That's a long-term lease.
My point was, if we own and maintain the building, we
Okay, and it's under and then they may have 2 quotes, I'm sure they did. They normally do get 2 or 3, so.
Yeah, we should look at that, and there's a long-term lease with the State Department of Mental Health on that property, which they just renewed it last November. And I think it was a 50-year lease or something that renewed last November, and we have a lease
I know we're legal
with
to do it.
Weems now that's operating that, so we should look at it. Maybe Chris, maybe you're right, we can just do it as part of our
We've
building.
done concrete work out there. We actually helped put the air conditioning units in, the system in. That was actually when Craig was on board at the time. Wayne and Joe would have been involved in that, installed air conditioning in there. So, I mean, we've done a lot of work on that building. Of course, I was always under the assumption we owned the building, and they are too. They believe we own it. I didn't know we leased it. That's the first I heard of a lease. But I mean,
The building is on leased property. Now, I don't remember if we own the building or if it's our building on leased land, so send me look at it.
and that may be true.
What was the numbers again?
1926.
if that's something that y'all want to do, even if, while we're working through it, if y'all want to go ahead and approve that while we're working through it, make sure it's
And that's my fault. I told them to remind me, and it didn't. I don't know how I thought about it, but I just thought about it. So,
Yeah, I just did it again, do a quick check of the file, I just don't remember it off the top of my head.
So we can okay it, but not do
Subject
it.
to, yeah, and I'll look at that, if there's a problem, then I'll let Chris know, then we won't execute it.
and that's fine with me. If that's good with y'all, that's fine with me. It was,
Contingent, they have a second. Correct.
they normally get 3 quotes. Every meeting I've ever been in, we've done anything, we normally get 3 quotes. So I know they at least got 2, because if they're trying to get the cheapest, they're trying to do it as low as they can, so. But it's still under the threshold, having to get 2 quotes anyway, right?
Yeah, not a problem from the administrative side either way. Not a problem at all.
But are y'all good with that, just voting on it contingent upon you?
So what are the 2 quotes?
When we started voting?
I just have
It's
one.
our
He just
building.
sent me the lowest. I don't have the second.
I need to vote on this your bill.
Well, I was, okay, then I was just informing y'all that we're gonna spend $1,926. If Lee says it's okay.
Yeah, I'll check.
So we don't have to really vote on it, we own the building, do we?
Not if you own it, it'll know
Or do we need to vote on it just in case we don't own it?
I'll make that motion for you, sir. That we,
Either way, I'm gonna make it happen, if that's the issue.
Okay. You wanna go ahead and just do that just in case?
That's fine, we'll, so,
Okay.
I'll make a
we'd like to
motion
get the
that we do
second,
$26.
$26.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any further discussion on this matter?
So Josh, you're asking for the second quote, so we can have that for the
Okay.
minutes.
I will.
Put the second quote in the minute, the higher quote in the minutes.
Do it right now.
Are there any further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have, motion carried. Mr. Todd.
I'll work together with Chris, make sure that in terms of executing that, we don't have a problem. I don't think we do, but just, we'll be sure.
Okay, that was all.
That's all?
That's it.
Okay, we down to, is there a need for executive session?
Nothing I'm aware of.
We don't have a
did.
need? I don't know, I'm asking.
Who was it, me? One of us was talking. Okay. Good, let's carry on, that's why I remember. Let's go.
All right. If there's not a need for that, I guess we would entertain a motion to recess until, pardon me?
Mr. Norwood?
Yes, sir.
One thing, I just comment, Chris asked me about, the fire districts. I mentioned the public hearings for our next meeting. You remember we approved these resolutions, prior resolutions of public hearings. There's a lengthy statutory process we have to go through. One of those is we have required public hearings. After that, then there's another resolution you'll have to pass about, going forward, creating some fire districts, some you're abolishing and recreating, that sort of thing. So you've got the ones where you're annexing property. We've got public hearings set for 9:30 on July 20th, where we're creating a new district, that's Causeyville, that's set for 9:40. And then also, those that we are basically reconfiguring, those are July 20th at 9:50. Those ads, the notice to the public have been running in the Marine Star already. The next publication is, there's one more publication on July the 9th, and then all that will be ready to go on the 20th.
Okay. And then the fire districts will be.
Well, after those public hearings, there's even another resolution that we'll have to publish, the legal description of new or reconfigured districts. If y'all been looking at the Marine Star, when those legal notices run, I mean, it's it's 3 full pages in the newspaper. So it's terms of how advertising bills go, it's a steep advertising bill. Marine Star likes you this month. So,
all right.
In terms of billing is going, it's part of the process.
Anything else need to be brought before the board at this time? Okay, hearing and seeing no movement, entertain a motion to recess until Monday, June 20th at 9 a.m. July 20th at 9 a.m.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have, motion carried. We stand in recess to July the 20th.
July.
July.